Cannons thunder, diplomats scramble, and empires sleepwalk toward catastrophe. Beat. This is the month when the world changed forever. 1. A fractured peace. The July crisis unfolds. Imagine a glittering European summer of 1914 in which monarchs exchange pleasantries while plotting behind brocade curtains. Beat. Barbara Tuchman invites us to stand in the antechambers of power as telegrams race faster than reason. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand is the match, but the powder has been laid for decades. Austria-Hungary drafts an ultimatum so harsh it is meant to be refused, banking on German backing under the rigid blank check. Beat. Yet even Berlin misreads the tempo. Britain, lulled by Edwardian prosperity, hopes the storm will pass. France prays its alliances will hold. Russia, torn between reform and autocracy, mobilizes to protect Slavic kin. Every court insists it does not want war, yet every order issued makes war more likely. Beat. Tuchman's narrative pace mirrors the diplomatic frenzy. Every cable a heartbeat, every delay a fresh hazard. Behind the scenes, military timetables trump negotiation. Chief of the German General Staff, Helmuth von Moltke, warns that any pause will ruin the Schlieffen Plan. Russian generals fear their vast empire cannot be mobilized in leisurely fashion. Thus, diplomacy is placed on a stopwatch. In this first thematic arc, Tuchman shows how brinkmanship, nationalism, and personal pride entwine until compromise becomes toxic. Emphasis, hubris, is the secret protagonist. Rulers cling to prestige. Ministers critique friends more harshly than foes. Newspapers whip up rage. By July's end, the dominoes fall, not because leaders seek glory, but because they cannot envision backing down without losing face. The chapter closes with railway stations jammed, goodbye kisses masked as patriotic fervour, and one chilling realization. The peace of 1914 was far more fragile than its ornate ceremonies implied. Beat. 2. Plans, railways, and the illusion of control. All great wars begin with confidence, and August 1914 is no exception. Germany rolls westward, believing its armies will sweep through Belgium before the leaves fall. France trusts in Elan, raw offensive spirit, to punch into Alsace-Lorraine. Russia, vast yet under-equipped, pins hopes on sheer numbers. Tuchman's second section dissects the machinery underneath these convictions: rail timetables, color-coded maps, and mobilization orders refined like clockwork. Beat. Officers regard their plans as scripture, blind to real-time variables. The difficulty? Once set in motion, the trains cannot be recalled without paralyzing entire fronts. Tuchman emphasizes the deterministic faith placed in logistics. German generals believe the 72 trains per corps moving each day guarantee victory, overlooking Belgian fortresses and British intervention. French commander Joseph Joffre clings to Plan 17th, red penciling attack arrows across the Rhine, even when reconnaissance reports contradict assumptions. Meanwhile, British Foreign Secretary Sir Edward Grey agonizes over whether treaty obligations to Belgium justify entering the fray. Beat. His twilight walk as lamps light. London becomes a metaphor for a continent about to darken. Throughout, the narrative reveals an emphasis illusion, that technology and planning deliver certainty. Wireless telegraphy speeds orders, but also interceptions. Heavy artillery devastates fortresses, yet bogs armies that outrun supply lines. Each nation's confidence rests on outdated lessons from the Franco-Prussian War and Balkan campaigns, ignoring machine guns' defensive slaughter. By mid-August, blood-soaked fields testify to a cruel lesson. Plans excel on the map, then crumble on contact. Beat. 3. Clash of Titans. Mons, the Marne, and the moment of decision, the war's first thunderous collisions occur in Belgium and northern France. At Mons, the outnumbered British Expeditionary Force wields rapid rifle fire, astonishing German troops who mistake it for machine guns. Yet, weight of numbers forces a retreat. The old contemptibles, fighting rearguard actions under blistering heat. Tuchman excels at telescoping viewpoint. We feel a private fumbling for cartridges, a general scanning maps in a dust-clogged car, a nurse tending wounded amid shell-shocked villages. Beat. As August bleeds into September, German armies curl toward Paris, executing the Schlieffen Hook. French civilians flee in carts, while the government evacuates to Bordeaux. Joffre, once rigid, now shows steel, sacking timid commanders, repositioning reserves by taxis from Paris's boulevards to the Marne. The river becomes the pivot of history. German First Army Commander von Kluck veers inward, exposing his flank. French and British forces exploit the gap. Tuchman's prose crackles as trumpets signal attack at dawn, church bells peal, and soldiers wade waist-deep through misty waters. Beat. The Battle of the Marne halts the German advance and births the stalemate of trench warfare. In 1 week, 500,000 casualties rewrite assumptions of a short war. Tuchman underscores 2 themes: leadership flexibility and moral endurance. Joffre's willingness to improvise contrasts with Moltke's breakdown. He sends despairing telegrams to the Kaiser, whispering defeat. Emphasis: resilience becomes the coin of survival. Yet victory here is merely the prevention of catastrophe, not the restoration of peace. The guns fall silent only briefly before shovels scrape chalk to carve trenches from the Channel to the Alps, locking Europe into a new, relentless geometry of death. Beat. 4. Echoes across continents, Eastern Front, and global reverberations. While Western headlines capture Paris's salvation, Tuchman widens the lens to the Eastern Front, where maneuver still appears possible. Russia hurls armies into East Prussia. German commanders Hindenburg and Ludendorff seize rail lines to encircle at Tannenberg, annihilating an entire Russian corps. The scenes contrast sharply. Vast pine forests, rolling fog, and horseback messengers racing along sandy tracks. Yet even triumph sows peril. Germany must transfer troops eastward, weakening the western push. Beat, Austria-Hungary, meant to humble Serbia swiftly, instead staggers in the Carpathians. Ottoman diplomats flirt with both sides before entering the war, extending conflict to the Dardanelles and the Middle East. Britain's dominions raise volunteer forces. Japan seizes German colonies in the Pacific. What began as a localized Balkan quarrel morphs into a world war in weeks. Tuchman's genius lies in tracing invisible threads. A British cruiser chasing German raiders diverts coal from civilian markets. Belgian refugees clog Dutch ports, precipitating humanitarian crises. Colonial troops from India, Algeria, and Australia confront a Europe they'd only known through textbooks. The story becomes planetary, revealing how imperial networks guarantee that no theatre is truly distant. Emphasis, consequences, compound. Financial markets reel, telegraph cables hum with censored news, and poets already mourn a lost golden age. By November, the initial illusion of quick victory is dead. The same leaders who toasted certain success now confront casualty lists longer than entire 19th century wars. Tuchman ends her survey of August by returning to the thunder of guns, louder, deeper, echoing across mud-filled trenches and frozen forests alike. The month closes not with resolution, but with grim recognition. The easy part is over. The abyss has opened. Beat.